Throughout my cast experience, I have learned many new skills and learned more about myself than I ever would have without the aid of IB. This includes simply developing new skills, working collaboratively with others, increased awareness of my strengths and weaknesses, and engagement with issues of global importance. In fact, these are just 4 of the IB objectives that I have achieved within the last 2 years. The first activities that I would like to talk about are Evening of the Arts and Coffee House. In both events, I performed as a guitarist of my band. My band consisted of 2 guitarists, 1 bassist, 1 drummer, and 1 singer. These were my first times performing for school. Though I was extremely nervous at first, I made it through alive and overcame my stage fright. But the hardest part of these activities was working collaboratively with my band. We needed to make sure we were all synchronized. Also, we needed to change different parts of sections. For example, if the singer needed us to change the key, the guitarists and bassists would need to change their parts. We were also very reliant on the drummer because he kept us all together and in pace. However, after much practice, we performed perfectly. It just goes to show how important practice is for group presentations. Along with that, I was in charge of organizing Coffee House, so I needed to work with the members of Music Club to make it happen. It was also my first time being responsible for an event so large. I learned about all the effort needed to go into planning of an event. Another event I was in charge of was Computer Literacy Program, abbreviated as CLP. This is an organization devoted to raising money for the education of underprivileged students in Bangladesh. The problem with the education is that there are so little funds for technology. Thus, their education is severely lacking. The purpose of this event is to get as many visitors as possible to watch the presentations and donate money. The money is then used to get computers to various Bangladeshi schools. So far, we have made great progress, as shown by this chart. The marks show schools that are currently being helped. I have learned a lot about this global issue, and I hope I can one day do more to help the world's education system. For now, though, for CLP at least, all I can do is volunteer with my greatest efforts. I get a bigger role each year that I volunteer. In fact, last year I was a volunteer leader, as I designated roles to all the other volunteers. I was also the MC, as I introduced all the speakers. Thus, I paid attention to what each of them had to say. The organization gets bigger every year, too. Last year, Congressman Rush Holt was one of the speakers. I will continue to be engaged in the program. The next thing I would like to talk about is skiing, an activity I pursue every winter. This time, however, I went on more challenging slopes, the blue squares. I have never been on these before, so I was scared at first, but I was eager to increase my awareness of my strengths and weaknesses. It was extremely icy, so I made sure to go slow at first. Once I got the hang of it, I began to go on ramps. I was terrified at first, so I didn't go that high up, but once I got used to that, I began to increase my speed and gain more air. I realized how good my agility and balance was at this point. My only weakness, I think, is getting the courage to go on even more challenging slopes. I wanted to go on the black diamonds or the half pipes, but I was too scared. I need to work on that, and I hope I'm able to overcome that fear soon. Finally, I would like to talk about the new skills I have developed through CAS. 2 of these activities are snorkeling and singing. At the Bahamas, my family and I went snorkeling. At first, I thought I wouldn't see any fish. It was also very difficult to use all of the equipment, like the flippers, the breathing tube, and the life vest. The breathing tube was probably the hardest to get used to, since I'm so accustomed to breathing through my nose. I was surprised by the amount of fish that I saw. There were hundreds, if not thousands, in one little bay. It was very entertaining, especially because of the diversity. Singing was a whole new challenge. I never knew how difficult it would be. My goal was to be able to hit notes more precisely and have a wider range. I think I was successful with this goal because each lesson we would record our time together. And after listening to them, I can hear how much better my singing has gotten. The main skill I learned was being able to use certain muscles in my stomach to get higher notes. Thankfully, due to these activities, out of the many that I have done, I was able to accomplish the IB objectives.